Mum and Dad were living in Euroa. They'd been there 10 years or so, but they'd raised 5 kids in the suburb of Glenroy, which is not too far away from here. But when Mum developed dementia, she started to have falls, and it was pretty obvious then that she was going to get put into some sort of facility. His dad wasn't mobile enough to look after her by himself, and that meant they'd be separated. You know, that he'd have to drive the car down to the hospital at Euroa and visit her, and all the kids were in Melbourne. We were all down here. We couldn't think about how that would work, and it wouldn't be long term. So we started search and found Doutta Galla had this facility here, which we're in now, which is the independent living unit part of the business, and came to visit this apartment and thought, wow, perfect. It just suited our needs, because downstairs is the aged care facility. So we kind of figured if Mum was deteriorating, she'd end up downstairs and Dad would be here, and he could be close to her. We were kind of out towards the Broadmeadows part of town, so Moonee Ponds and Puckle Street was upmarket for Mum and Dad, and we used to have family outing was fish and chips on a Friday night at Queen's Park, and we'd feed the ducks, and all of us thought that was the most exciting thing to do. You know, we used to love it. And having the location of Doutta Galla so close to the park meant that, you know, they could have this affinity with being here and moving up market from Glenroy. We were all close to Mum as she started to get worse with her dementia. She participated in all of the activities, so they have a lot going on downstairs. Mum was into all of it, so she looked to see what she was going to do for the week and plan everything out. Dad didn't buy into that at all. He tended to walk over to the park. He loved having the library close by. He used to really enjoy going to Aldi to get his cheap beer. You know, he felt like it was Christmas, that he could go off and do his little bit of shopping and come back. And he loved to read. So this apartment's got lots of light, and it really suited both of them. Mum was the more social butterfly of the two. Can't speak more highly of the staff. I mean, it is the people here that make the difference. Doesn't matter what the facility looks like. If you can have a 5-star hotel, but if it's serviced the wrong way, with the wrong sort of people, it can really lose it. So we found that from the beginning, we knew we were in good hands. The residents in this 3rd floor area were incredibly friendly. They were all happy to meet somebody new and have someone new join their group. And it just made us feel so reassured that, you know, you could speak to the chef firsthand. He was down there. You know, the food prep people were down there in real life, so you could see who was preparing the fresh food for you. You could see how it was done. It's an open kitchen. And the way everybody had their own seat, and they knew who they were going to sit with, and the staff knew exactly their habits, what their likes and dislikes were, and, you know, if Mum didn't like pumpkin, for example, they made sure she didn't get served that. So it was really a personal service for them. The staff are incredibly open. They know exactly who you are when you turn up, who you're there to see. Without me asking, I get told if there was anything I needed to know about Nola or John, because that was Mum and Dad. Jan at the front door, well, she's in the office, she's sharp as a tack. She knows everybody and everyone's movements, and she would always brief me on anything I needed to know. So there were rarely occasions I can think of where we need to take an issue down to Jan. It was more the opposite. They would raise things with us. I'm going to say the people. Yep. I think that they just make the place. It's really a credit to the staff. And the people the residents and the people that live here, and other recipients of that service that they give, they're all incredibly different, and they're all incredibly friendly and helpful, and they can relate. You know, there's empathy wherever you go, compassion and empathy. And this apartment had 2 bedrooms. It has. 2 bedrooms, and this lounge area, probably the most unique thing about this apartment is that little balcony there and the window out into the Army Reserve area, where every Friday night they would practice their drills, their marching and their, I don't know what they do, but they would march around the courtyard, and it would go on for an hour, sometimes 2. And Dad would just love to watch the people arriving and getting organised and lining up and then leaving again. And it was without fail every Friday night before COVID struck. And then I wasn't able to come in as much either. But that sort of thing took Dad back to his years of, compulsory service. The energy that they could watch just sitting in their own apartment and looking at how life goes by outside and what was going on. So if there was a storm coming, you could watch it coming through the windows and over the rooftops, and it's really beautiful. The way it's situated here is really quite special. We've not got a bad word to say about them. About Doutta Galla Queen's Park and where it's situated, it's incredibly unique, I think, having the park across the road, but also you've got Pascoval Road and the busy road out, Mount Alexander Road. So you've got really good access. There's trams running both ways. You can get into the city easily. You can get up Puckle Street easily. Dad really liked Moonee Valley because he liked the horses, and the fact that Moonee Valley was not too far away, he could get there in his little trolley. So it's just got so much going for it. It's got a theatre on the corner, it's got the library. There's so much life around this area that it'd be hard to match somewhere else.
That's terrific.